Hello students, and welcome to our second lesson, Integrated Science, under the topic Scientific Investigation. Before we continue, like, subscribe, share and comment so that you will be the first one to get the notification of our second lesson. Now, we will start by looking at a recap of what we learned in our last lesson. In our first lesson, we looked at the introduction part of integrated science. We said that integrated science is a broad area of study that deals with different branches of science. This includes biology, chemistry, and physics. Secondly, we also talked about the importance of science to our day-to-day life. We looked at several importance of science. We say that the knowledge we get in science can help us to pursue other careers, such as we can pursue a career in pharmacist, nursing, and so on. Back to our lesson today, lesson 2. Objectives of this lesson, we have 1. Common hazards in the laboratory, causes of common accidents in the laboratory. We will also look at first aid measures in the laboratory. And lastly, we will look at the importance of safety in the laboratory. Now, to begin with, common hazards in the laboratory. We need to understand the term hazard. We say that a hazard is anything that is likely to cause a harm or an injury. When we talk about a harm, also refer to it as a damage or an injury. In the laboratory, we have injuries that can occur due to poor handling of the apparatus or maybe slippery flow of the laboratory. Now, these hazards, they include, we have number 1, flammable, we have radioactive, carcinogenic, corrosive, and toxic. Also, we have electric shock. Dear students, you need to ensure that you get the symbols, the meaning, and example of each hazard, because in our exams they can draw for us and ask to name and give the example of each. Now, to begin with the flammable, when you talk about flammable, from the word flame, flame means fire. You see, it's a substance that is likely to cause fire. For example, we have what we call kerosene, ethanol, which are highly flammable. When exposed to fire, they can cause a damage. This is one of the hazards. Since we have said that a hazard can cause what we call a damage. So when we have a flame, it can burn up our laboratory, it can burn up some of the apparatus that we need. Therefore, we should ensure that we take safety measures against this flammable. Number 2, we have radioactive. When we talk about radioactive, say these are substances that produces radiation. Substances that produces radiation. Examples of this radiation, we have the X-ray, the gamma ray, and so on. So these are some of the radiation that can be caused by radioactive substances. Marks are the symbol of radioactive. In our exams, you can be asked to give the symbol of that radioactive. Then thirdly, we have what we call carcinogenic. Carcinogenic are substances that causes cancer when exposed to them. They result to cancer. For example, we have something called X-ray and gamma rays. When we expose to X-rays, they can cause cancer, skin cancer. Therefore, we should take safety measures over that. We have what we call corrosive. So these are chemicals that can destroy skin and other materials including. So any material that come in contact with this chemical, they can be destroyed. This is what we call corrosive. Then we have toxic, substances that cause harm or death. We should be able to know it. Electric shock and so on. So dear students, let us ensure that we understand the hazards that exist in the laboratory. Now, before we move on, if you have not subscribed, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Now, we move now to the second bit of our objective of the day, and this is what we call causes of common accidents in the laboratory. When we are in the laboratory, we can have what we call accidents. We don't say that we need these accidents, but they can occur. And we say that accidents, there is one of these proverb in Kiswahili which says that ajali haina kinga. Now, because accidents, some of them we can avoid, but some of them we can't avoid. Therefore, we need to know them. We need to know how they can be caused. Before we avoid them, we need to know their causes and how they can be avoided. Number one, we have what we call cut. A cut can be caused by breakages of glass apparatus, i.e. we have beaker, pipette. Most of these apparatus in the laboratory are made up of glass. We know that most of these glass are transparent. So when we do reactions, when we carry out experiments, they can help us for easy visibility, and also they can't react with most of these reagents. It's very, very important for us to know that. Number two, we have burns. Say that burns result as touching hot apparatus with bare hands. When we touch a hot apparatus with bare hands, they can cause what we call a burn. Another one, have splashing chemicals. We have dangerous chemicals like concentrated sulfuric acid. If it splashes on your skin, it can cause a burn. Then we have careless handling of steam from boiling liquids. It can also result to a burn. Number three, we have injection of harmful substances. While in the laboratory, we say one of the safety rules, we should avoid eating or drinking anything in the laboratory because it can lead to what we call poisoning. So when you swallow a chemical, it results to a poison. Now, we have what we call carrying out experiments involving toxic gases in an open place. It can also lead to injection of harmful substances. We have some gases that are harmful, like ammonia gas and so on. And therefore, when we handle such gases, we should ensure that we are careful. We should handle them in a place. As we say, when we handle these harmful gases, these irritative gases like ammonia gas, we should be able to handle them in a fume chamber to avoid poison. Then lastly, we have false results are rushing into the laboratory. We say that one of the safety rules in the laboratory, we should ensure that we don't run or rush because it can lead to a fall due to a slippery flow of the laboratory. Now, dear students, for us to avoid these accidents in the laboratory, we need to ensure that we follow the safety rules while in the laboratory. Very wonderful and very, very important. Now, let us now demystify the third part of our objective today. It is about first aid measures for common laboratory accidents. First aid. We've been having these things about first aid. While in the field playing football or any other game, we find out one of the players can get injured. So we do first aid to those players before taking them to the hospital. Therefore, what is the meaning of first aid? Students, I know most of you know. If you are close, you could tell me, but now let us get to it. First aid, we say that it's a help given to someone who is injured before being taken to the hospital. It's not a real treatment. When you talk about first aid, it's not a treatment. It is just a first help given before being taken to the hospital. It helps to stop further harm. So first aid is very, very important. Dear students, let us be able to understand first aid so that we can apply to our fellow students, to other people who are injured, so that we can stop further harm before taking these people to the hospital. Now, we have the equipment or the items that are found in the first aid kit. These include one, we have a pair of gloves, pair of scissors, bandages, antiseptics, cotton wool, painkillers, safety pins, and so on. So dear students, when we talk about a pair of gloves, it is very important for us to wear gloves when handling people who are injured. This helps to prevent infection. It helps to prevent infection because some people, when the fluids interact, we know very well, it can lead to transfer of HIV from one person to another. Therefore, when you handle a person, you ensure that you wear gloves. Then a pair of scissors. This just helps us to cut bandages before we dress the wounds. And bandages, these are the ones that covers the wound. Antiseptics, these are used to clean the wounds. When we clean the wounds, we don't use water. We use what we call antiseptics. These are the ones that are used to clean the wounds. Then we have cotton wool. So cotton wool and antiseptics are used together when we apply on wounds. We use cotton wool and antiseptics. Then we have painkillers. Painkillers are, this is used just to reduce pain. Safety pins, it is used to hold bandages on the wound. Now students, in most cases a question arises here. They ask you to elaborate or to give some of these items and their functions that are found in the first aid kit. Know at least 4 or 5 of them and their functions. These are very simple things that we understand. Now students, let us move to the last part of our objectives of the day. That's the importance of safety in the laboratory. You see, it is necessary for us to maintain safety in the lab because safety will help us to avoid what we call accidents, because accidents are dangerous. Before we come to apply first aid, we should be able to avoid what? To avoid the accidents by making sure that we maintain safety. So importance of safety in the laboratory. Number 1, to avoid accidents. That's number 1. Number 2 is to prevent losses, whereby we will prevent the breakages of apparatus which are expensive, like beakers, volumetric flasks, conical flasks, pipette, burette, and others. These apparatus are very, very expensive, and therefore, for us to prevent those damages, we should ensure that we avoid, we follow all rules and regulations required. Now, dear students, as we are moving to the end of this lesson, let us remind ourselves what we have learned. We've learned about common hazards in the laboratory. We've learned about causes of common accidents in the laboratory. First aid measures, importance of safety rules. What do you remember on hazards? What do you remember on accidents? What do you remember on first aid measures? And what do you remember on the importance of safety rules in the laboratory? We have so many importance of following safety rules. They are there in our books. We have Spotlight, we have Top Scholar, and so on. So students, now we need to understand these concepts, master them, because science is a very good subject. It's a subject that will help you to move on to the senior school and do STEM, where you will fix chemistry, biology, and also physics. So it is very crucial for us to continue understanding. In science, we don't cram concepts, we understand because they are crucial. It helps us to solve problems in society. It helps us to come up with very, very important things. Now students, if you have a question, you can contact me on my number 0117 449659. I will repeat 0117 449659. If you have any help to help, you can. That number is the one that I use on M-Pesa. Thank you very much. Let us meet in our next lesson. Ensure you subscribe on my channel so that you will be the first one to get the notification of the next lesson. Till next time, let us meet.